Hi everyone. In today's video, I am going to show you how to write an introduction of your research paper. This could be an introduction of a journal paper or a conference paper or a thesis or even a magazine article, a professional magazine article that you may be writing. And today we will discuss what should you be including and excluding from your introduction to make it an effective introduction to your research. So the most important thing that you have to know is that in an introduction, it sets the expectations of the reader. All right. So once they read the introduction, they should know what to expect from the rest of the paper. There is not one formula for a good introduction, but I can give you some recommendations which will help you improve the introduction. The first thing that you should be aware about that in the introduction, do not be vague. All right, do not be vague in the introduction. For example, do not say this paper attempts to explain. So the word attempts to here kind of makes it vague. Make the claim. Say this paper explains. This paper achieves. This paper proves. Use the word like that. So proves, explain. This will grab the attention of the reader. So you need to grab the attention. All right. Make sure that you narrow the focus of your research in the introduction. You tell the reader exactly what it's all about. So let's get started with some of the other important bits and pieces that you should be wary of when writing the introduction. All right. So like I told you, the introduction should attract the reader's attention. Magazines and newspaper articles often accomplish this with brief but interesting anecdotes, questions that pique the reader's curiosity, something of personal relevance to the reader, something that the reader will relate to either professionally or personally. You might use some apt quotations which will set the tone. Do not use too many quotations, it doesn't make the article look professional, but just an apt quotation or a provocative question, something that provokes them to think about, something maybe they have been thinking about, or just statements, provocative statement. You can make a statement, a bold statement and a provocative statement which will grab their attention. You don't have to sensationalize it. You don't have to make claims that you can't prove. Neither should you assume that the reader is interested in what you have to say by default. So very often by raising just the interesting issue that your thesis or your research explores is enough to pull the reader in. So try to pull the reader in through your introduction. That is the purpose of the introduction. Next, an introduction should tell the reader explicitly what the research or the thesis or the point of the paper is all about. So after having read the introduction, the reader should have no doubt at all, no doubt what the central point of your research or your paper is all about. What are they going to read about? What is it that you are proving in your research? The third one is that the introduction should establish the significance of your point to the reader. You should convince your audience that it should care about what you have to say through attention to relevance and significance. Right? Is part of constructing a successful research thesis or a journal or a conference paper. All right, it should establish the significance. You should be able to convince them in the introduction itself why they should read the entire paper. The introduction can also give a preview of how you are going to demonstrate what you have set out to achieve. So writers often summarize in a brief list of 3 or 4 points how you are going to back up your claims. All right, so how you are going to back up your claims. All right, so prepare the reader. Do not just throw them in the deep end without introducing the concepts, but prepare the reader into what you're going to lead them into. Improve the reader's recognition and retention of those points. All right, you can explain in brief the methodology, not explain the methodology, but how the methodology that you have adopted proves the claims. All right. So what all you have set out to achieve, and give a little bit of just slowly lead them into the problem. Slowly lead the readers into the problem, the research problem you have set out to achieve, and how you are going to address it. Right. So you are not throwing the readers directly into the deep end, but you are slowly leading them, you are holding their hand and slowly leading them into the research problem, and how you will address the research problem, how you have investigated it. And do not reveal everything in the introduction itself, just what you have set out to achieve, with key references. So make sure that you use some key references so that backs up that the problem that you're investigating is worth reference or worth investigating. So use some key references. All right. However, make sure you watch out for the following. This is one mistake that often new academic writers make. Remember that the introduction is not the place to introduce background or factual information. So often background and introduction gets mixed up. Sometimes people think that the introduction is where the background is. Often it also depends on the format of the journal or the conference of the thesis. Some people will argue that no, background should be there in introduction, and some people will say no, background is a separate section. I have always tried to include background as a separate section, because I feel if I introduce the background into the if I introduce background or include background in the introduction, it becomes long and a bit tedious and a bit boring. You don't want it to be boring. It should not be boring. Right. So a common impulse is to start a paper with the story of when a person was born, or with some historical preference, some historical background. So unless some brief information is absolutely necessary to understand the terms or the terminology within or significance of your research, save the background for your next paragraph. So make sure that background and introduction are separate paragraphs, because it also breaks the reading little bit, and also the reader will know what is included in which section of the paper, so that they are not bored, because background is normally a bit boring because it provides the history of what you're going to talk about. Remember, the introduction should not be very long. All right. There is no recommended length as such for introduction. It depends on the kind of paper you are writing. Thesis can be a few pages long, while journals papers is about 1.5 pages long. Conference could be a couple of paragraphs. So I cannot recommend a particular length of an introduction. It depends on the research and what you're writing. So people will say that it can be a 1 or 2 paragraphs long for a conference, right? Maybe a page long for a journal, and a few pages maybe for thesis. So it depends on what you believe in. If your opening anecdote is a long one, you don't have to finish it in the introduction. Just introduce enough of it to get the reader's attention, then establish the significance of your research. It should not be too long, so you can finish it in the body of the paper. All right, so just use it like a teaser. Think of the introduction as a teaser to your paper, just to grab the attention. So it should not be too long, otherwise people will get bored. Also, make sure you do not include too many dictionary definitions. People often start by saying Webster's dictionary defines so and so, so and so, postmodernism or something like that. They start like that, or they'll start their theoretical definitions. No, this is not the place for it. All right. And even if you provide theoretical definitions, you must make it sound interesting. It should integrate into the introduction in a way that it adds value to the introduction. It should not be boring. If you start introducing definitions, people will lose track of the definition. You should try to make it interesting in a way that it adds value. Your every word should add value, because you can explain stuff in the body of the paper. All right. So you can explain in the body of the paper, main body. But whatever you write in the introduction should add value to your paper. Finally, don't start with a grand generalization. All right. So it often leads to uninteresting sentences that since the beginning of time or throughout history. You're trying to show the significance, but at the same time you cannot generalize. So whatever claims or statements or problems that you introduce, research problems, try to back it up with some references. All right, key important references, if they are well known cited authors, that will be better. So back it up, don't start generalizing, don't start claiming without any kind of research or without any kind of data, just because you want to show the reader that your research is worth reading. All right, so and then you can explain more in the body of the paper, but in the introduction make sure that you grab the attention of the reader, but back it up with some solid references, some solid data, some solid research that has been done. You can explain the research behind the claims and the statements. That would be more interesting, because that will convince the reader that a problem that you're investigating does exist. It is just not out of your whims or fancies. So guys, I hope you liked this video and you understood how to write an introduction. Again, like I always say, I have previously made videos on how to write an abstract and how to write a conclusion. You can find them in the description section below. But all these comes with practice. You need an art to write. So the more you write, the better you will get at it. And I will also recommend that please read a lot of papers. So read others introductions as well, and you will get an idea of, the more you read, the better you get an idea of how to write an introduction, because people use different strategies and you may like some strategy, then stick to it. All right, so let me know what you thought about this video, guys. I look forward to your feedback and comments. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for following the channel. Bye for